Alright there guys, thanks for tuning in again. So I wanted to video document this a little bit. Last week, literally the 14th, today being the 17th, we got like 6 to 8 inches of snow. They predicted like 2 feet, but what we actually got was a whole bunch of freezing rain. It pretty much disappeared, but today, along with some of the melting snow, we're getting a couple inches of rain, which is pretty common for springtime, but just to show what my water problems look like, and so I can remind myself later when I want to look this up and not lose the video, I'm going to post it to YouTube. So this is the ditch in between my and my neighbor's yard, the front yard here, and that is completely flooded. Where you see those stakes, those little markers, those are indicators of about 8 inches is where the neighbor put up a little red tape, and those are buried underwater right now. But anyways, to kind of take a look, you can see we literally have a river running from my neighbor's backyard, and his backyard's really saturated in a little sandbox back there, but you can see the water coming through his backyard. In my backyard, we've got another natural ditch, or kind of natural ditch, that comes from our backyard, and this is our septic mound back here. And I added a whole bunch of fill in here around our fireplace, and that is all kind of pooling and heading this way for the most part. There's actually, this is a nice big puddle problem area, but ideally what I'd like to do is actually fill in a whole bunch of this area, or a couple inches of more black dirt, and reseed, because what we're coming to find out with those sump pump problems we've had in the last couple of years is that this is the low spot in our backyard. So this is the video I did a couple weeks ago when we were melting all this snow, is the backyard sump pump to save ourselves a lot of that water coming into the basement. And you can just see how saturated this whole ground is. And if I didn't have this sump pump in right now, literally this would probably be about 5-6 inches of water, just a giant pool right here that eventually tries to go through the house. Now this sump pump, you can see, was the last time it went off, it goes off about every 20 or 30 seconds, so the water is just really pouring in here. How fast that's coming up. So we are shooting, and again, lots of this part of the backyard slopes this way too, and some of it kind of slopes this way. You can see on this side of my front yard, this is where that hose goes, the drain hose kicks the water out toward the front yard. Let's actually walk out there. And this water coming from underneath the neighbor's fence is actually part of, they got some water issues too, but all the water kind of comes this way, and they actually have, I'm not sure if you can see that through there, but right there is their gutter that feeds this way too. So we actually had to dig this out when we bought this house. Originally it had ditches on both sides of the driveway to keep the driveway dry, but that is no longer the case. So we actually dug this ditch out just a little couple inches deep. With that right now is really filled with water. And again, that's the other side of the front yard. That's a nice sized lake. So this comes up here and goes into our main ditch, and if you can see, we live in this cul-de-sac. This whole cul-de-sac is sloped our direction. Oh wow, look at that. So not only can you see the neighbor's culvert coming from underneath their driveway, we can see the neighbor's sump pump pumping water this way too. And then across their driveway and into the other neighbors, they've got a lot of water backed up into their front yard. That is a lot of water still too. So we're getting, still, even after the snow, a lot of water. Look at how fast that's moving. And this goes into the culvert to our house, or underneath our driveway. And there is just, I mean, that's probably 4 or 5 feet wide. Our sump pump actually drains, is submerged right now, but our sump pump actually drains right here. You can see, actually, you see that grass moving. That means it's kicking water out actually right now as we speak. That's kind of interesting. And this is all that water submerging my neighbor's yard and our yard. This is like 6-7 inches deep of water right now. So much water. So I'm documenting this just to give myself a reminder how much this this water comes out. So when we're trying to do a little excavating next year, or later on this year when stuff finally dries out, and I can figure out a good system and plan a little bit better with the escalations of how much water comes through here. Because I think I'm going to make that backyard sump pump a permanent fixture, and actually bury it, submerge it, and bring the pipe all the way out like my neighbor's brought his pipe all the way out. He's got a backyard sump pump to keep water from going through his house as well. So you could literally say, based on the backyard and the front and side yards, that we have a moat. Our house is completely surrounded by rivers of water. We have a moat around our castle. Anyways, super boring video. Probably not going to be interested, but I just wanted to do this one for myself for later. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.